Why, hello there! Today we are going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. So recently, I have finished A Child Alone with Strangers by Philip Fracassi, and if you haven't read anything by Philip Fracassi yet, and you like horror, you need to do it. He has several books out. This one was awesome. It's weird and strange. The premise is there's this boy named Henry, and he has special abilities almost along the lines of like a sixth sense kind of thing, or just, the third eye, where he can kind of pick up on people's thoughts and feelings and sense things in ways that the normal average person just can't. And he ends up being kidnapped and held for ransom. And the kidnappers, they take him to this weird, decrepit, old farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. So they're surrounded by forest, but little do the kidnappers know that an ancient entity lives in the surrounding forest near where this farmhouse is. And there's something in the basement that they probably don't want to know about. And so it goes south and a lot of messed up stuff happens, so it's weird, it's kind of paranormal, gory, strange, addictive horror story. If you haven't checked out Philip Fracassi yet, you should definitely do it. Currently, I am reading If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English by Noor Naga. It's like a dark romance. And you're probably like, you don't like romance. And I would say, yes, that's correct. Not normally. But I've been dipping my toes in the water. A little bit here, a little bit there. If you make it a dark fantasy, a dark romance, a dark fiction, it kind of makes me want to read it. This is not all rainbows and sunshine. It's dark, it's disturbing. The male protagonist in this is a former junkie. It's poetic, but it's really beautifully written so far. It's sad, it feels realistic, it's poignant, and there's a tangible grittiness to it. I'm about halfway through it, and I'm really enjoying it. This book I heard talked about here on Booktube. And I can't remember, I think I saw it also on Instagram, and so I've seen it around and heard about it, and then I saw it at the library, so I picked it up, and so far, it's pretty darn good. I will probably finish this one tonight. I picked up a few more books. I got a nonfiction book, and that is called Fieldwork. Oh, that's shiny, by Ileana Regan. This book is about obviously field work, and there's a mushroom on the cover, so we'll have to do with mushrooms. Let's have some story time with Sin, and we're gonna find out together exactly what this book is about. So just before the onset of the pandemic, Regan and her new wife, Anna, decided to create a culinary destination, the Milkweed Inn, located in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I may have mentioned before that I am from Michigan. Not the UP, but Michigan, the Mitten. So much of the food there is foraged, and Regan forages it herself from the surrounding region and area, from the forest and the nearby river. Part fresh challenge, part escape. Regan's move was also a return to her rural roots, I can't say that word, an effort to deepen the connection to nature and the land that she'd long expressed as a chef, but experienced most intensely growing up. As Regan explores the Hiawatha Forest, her stories of the land, its creatures, and its dazzling profusion of plants and vegetables are interspersed with her and Anna's efforts to make home. And a business of the inn that's suddenly shocking, empty of guests due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Grounded in the story of her life and heritage, as a forager, spanning her ancestry in Eastern Europe, her childhood in rural Indiana, and her new life in the far reaches of the rural Upper Peninsula, Fieldwork is a powerful, intimate account of life during the pandemic, an impassioned exploration of our natural environment, and a compelling story of how the author's personal and family history have informed not just her acclaimed work as a chef, but also her vision of how humans can find a more sustainable balance with the natural world. I thought that sounded pretty good. Next up, we have The Book of Goose. This is a fiction book, and let's have some more story time with Sin, and I'll tell you what it's all about. Fabian is dead. Her childhood best friend Agnes receives the news in America. Far from the French countryside where the two girls were raised, the place that Fabian helped Agnes escape 10 years ago. Now Agnes is free to tell her story. As children in a war-ravaged backwater town, they'd built a private world, invisible to everyone but themselves, until Fabian hatched a plan that would change everything. launching Agnes on an epic trajectory through fame, fortune, and terrible loss. A magnificent, beguiling tale winding from the post-war rural provinces to Paris, from an English boarding school to the quiet Pennsylvania home where a woman can live without her past. The Book of Goose is a story of disturbing intimacy and obsession, of exploitation and strength of will. All right, this is another one that I heard about from Allison Pages. And I saw this randomly at the library and I picked that up. We got one more. And that one is The House Witch. Rumor has it that this is a cozy fantasy, and ever since reading Legends and Lattes, I've been looking for more cozy fantasies, so I'm hoping this might be it. I guess we'll find out when we read it, but let me give you a little bit of the synopsis. When Finlay Ashwin joins the staff of the King and Queen of Daxaria, he's an enigma. No one knows where he comes from or how he came to be where he is, which suits Finn just fine. He is satisfied just simply serving as the royal cook, keeping the nosy passerby out of his kitchen and concocting some truly uncanny meals. But there's always a but, isn't there? Finn's secret identity doesn't stay hidden for long. Oh man. After all, it's not every day a house witch and his kitten familiar, Kraken, take to meddling in imperial affairs. As his powers are gradually discovered by the court, Finn finds himself involved in a slew of intrigues, going head-to-head with knights with less than chivalrous intentions, helping to protect the pregnant queen, fending off the ire of the royal mage, and uncovering a spy in the castle. That is a whole lot of stuff. That's only the beginning, because Finn's past is catching up with him, just as his love life is getting complicated, filled with fascinating characters, courtly intrigue, political machinations, delicious cuisines, cuddly companions, magical hijinks, and will they won't they romance. Ew, look at me, another romance. I just liked it because it was witchy and I like witchy books. We'll see what happens. I think this sounds pretty awesome. It's kind of big. It's got, let's look. Yeah, it's got like 460 pages. I think there are like 2 more books in this series. I wanted to try the first one first, and if I like it, I'll continue on with the series. And this is by Delemhach. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's just Delemhach. I also heard about this one through Booktube. Booktube has been influencing my reads in the last couple months very heavily. And this one I saw on Jordaline's channel. And if you haven't seen Jordaline before, they are stunning and fabulous, and like spooky reads and smutty reads and witchy reads and just a lot of the type of books that I like to read. And I will link their channel down below if you're interested in checking out Jordaline. So if you are a fan of videos where I talk about multiple books that I have read, the next video coming up will be another video about multiple books that I have read. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.